A very good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us for our weekly briefing. I don't really have any announcements, so maybe we'll just take some questions from that. Yeah, okay. Shailendra, why don't we start to you?
सर शैलेंद्र नेटवर्क 18 से आपने देखा होगा पिछले जहाँ तक मुझे याद है 3 ऐसे इंसिडेंट्स हुए हैं क्रॉस बॉर्डर फायरिंग के सीजफायर वायलेशन के पाकिस्तान की तरफ से जिसमें बीएसएफ को निशाना बनाया गया है. क्या इस इशू को इंडिया ने फॉर्मली पाकिस्तान के साथ डिप्लोमेटिकली रेज किया है या नहीं?
Okay. So hand there, yes please.
विनीत दीक्षित फ्रॉम न्यूज़गेट. सर, कतर में जो 8 हमारे बंधक हैं जिनके खिलाफ डेथ पेनल्टी अनाउंस करी गई है, क्या उम्मीद करी जा सकती है कि कतर का जो नेशनल डे 18 दिसंबर के आसपास होगा उस दिन तक वो सब रिहा हो जाएंगे? इस दिशा में क्या कदम उठाए जा रहे हैं, क्या बातचीत हो रही है और कहाँ तक सक्सेसफुल हुई है, कोई आशा की उम्मीद है?
I saw another. Okay, go ahead, John. Microphone, please. Could you repeat the first part? The two governments are in contact, you said?
Yes.
About expanded number of?
Expanded number of Indian workers going to Israel.
Okay.
Can you confirm this is the case and give us more details on how many, what the numbers are that you're talking about?
Okay.
And the second thing, like, we're going to be heard construction.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, please. Microphone.
Sir, Ayushi Gawal from ANI. Sir, will there be a representation from India in the upcoming oath-taking ceremony of the President-elect of Maldives on 17th November? Since there were reports of Maldives inviting our Prime Minister to visit Mali.
Okay, do you want more question? No, sorry, I saw your hand first. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Samira Hussain with BBC. Anthony Blinken is going to be coming to visit off the heels of a visit from the Middle East. How much will the Middle East be a part of the talking points at the 2+2? And do you expect to talk about Canada at all?
Okay. Let me take this round of questions. And anybody has a follow-up on this instead of coming back to it? Yeah, go ahead. Microphone.
सर, मैं विशाल हूँ जी न्यूज़ से. कतर की तरफ से क्या जजमेंट की कॉपी भारत को मुहैया कराई गई है जो हमारे भारतीयों को मौत की सज़ा सुनाई गई है, और क्या कोई अपील मंजूर हुई है अभी तक?
Okay. Any other ones on this? On Qatar, anything else? I know that's a topic you've been asking me. Okay, if not, let me start with President-elect. I think that was Ayushi, your question. We have received an invitation for Prime Minister to attend that. I'll let you know once we have a decision on who would represent us and what capacity. As of right now, I don't have any further information to share on that. But yes, we have received an invitation. Samira, on the issue of discussions, yes, as you know, the 2+2 is tomorrow. I think Secretary of Defense, US Secretary of Defense has just landed, and we're expecting Secretary Blinken a little later in the evening. Tomorrow is there. I'm not going to try to prejudge the conversations. I guess, considering the nature of our relationship and the strategic, global strategic partnership, a variety of issues are discussed, including topical issues, regional developments. So I wouldn't rule it out, but I certainly wouldn't like to prejudge it. On Canada, if they wish to discuss, we are happy to discuss all issues. But again, I wouldn't have a position yet. Let's wait for tomorrow. We will try to update you what actually transpires. John, you had a query on Israel and India. Look, I'm not sure in specific conversations or requests. I saw some reports of 100,000 workers replacing other workers there. I haven't heard any of those things. I'm not aware of any specific figure or request. But since you asked on the larger topic, as you are aware, we have been working with towards giving our citizens access to the global workplace. You heard External Affairs Minister talk about this issue. In this regard, we have been in discussion on trying to get into mobility agreements with a number of countries. Such frameworks or agreements ensure that our people are treated fairly, their rights are protected, and they are not discriminated against. In fact, if you remember just now, External Affairs Minister was in Italy, and an understanding was concluded then. With Israel, there are already a number of Indian workers employed there, especially in the caregiver sector. Since I think 2022, we have been discussing a bilateral framework in the construction and caregiver sectors, but this is a long-term initiative, and I'm not, as I said, aware of any specific requests or numbers that have been floating around. So that's what I would like to mention here. शैलेंद्र, आपका प्रश्न था इस जो क्रॉस बॉर्डर फायरिंग के बारे में, आपने इसी में पूछा था कि आज में इनफैक्ट आज कुछ इंसिडेंट आज का भी है. देखिए, हमने ऐसे जो इंसिडेंट्स होते हैं, हम रेगुलरली इनको ऐसे सीज़ फायर वायलेशंस जो होती हैं और क्रॉस बॉर्डर इन्फिल्ट्रेशन की जो घटनाएं होती हैं, कभी ड्रोन से या फायरिंग से, ये हमारे जो बायलैटरल एग्रीमेंट्स हैं इसका उल्लंघन है, और हम इनको पाकिस्तान के साथ हम इसको हमेशा उठाते हैं और इसको हम टेकअप करते हैं. और ये जो रिसेंट इंसिडेंट्स हुई हैं, आज वाले का मैं कह नहीं सकता हूँ, बट जो भी रिसेंटली हुई थी, जो बीएसएफ ने पाकिस्तानी साइड के साथ फ्लैग मीटिंग्स में इसको इनका इशू टेकअप किया है, और डिप्लोमेटिक चैनल्स के ज़रिए भी हमने ये मुद्दा उनके सामने रखा हुआ है. विनीत, आपका आपका प्रश्न था कतर के बारे में. देखिए, इसके बारे में हम जैसे आपको बताए जा रहे हैं, एक कोर्ट ऑफ फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस होता है कतर में, जिन्होंने 26 अक्टूबर को जजमेंट दिया था. ये 8 इंडियन एम्प्लॉयज जो थे अलदारा कंपनी के. जजमेंट कॉन्फिडेंशियल है और सिर्फ लीगल टीम के साथ शेयर किया गया है. वो अब अगला लीगल स्टेप्स जो हैं उसके बारे में उस पर जांच कर रहे हैं. एक अपील फाइल की गई है विशेष रूप से भी, और क्या लीगल स्टेप्स था, और उनका लीगल, मुझे जितना दूर मालूम है, उनका अपील फाइल हो गया है, और हम भी कतरी अथॉरिटीज़ के साथ इस मामले में संपर्क बनाए हुए हैं. 7 नवंबर को हमारी एम्बेसी को एक और राउंड ऑफ कॉन्सुलर एक्सेस मिली, जो हम मिले 8 लोगों से, और हम उनके फैमिली मेम्बर्स के साथ भी कांटेक्ट में हैं. पिछले हफ्ते या इसी महीने के पहले थोड़ा विदेश मंत्री जी ने उनके फैमिली मेम्बर से यहीं दिल्ली में मुलाकात की थी, और हम जितना हो सके लीगल और काउंसिल असिस्टेंस हम उनको देते रहेंगे. मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि ये मामला बहुत ही संवेदनशील नेचर का है, ताकि स्पेकुलेशन में बिल्कुल शामिल न हो. मैं ये फिर दोहराने का अनुरोध करूँगा. कानूनी और काउंसलर मदद जो भी हम सहायता दे सकते हैं हम देंगे. I know this question was interested, so we're going to be English version of it. I know there was a lot of query. As we had informed earlier, the Court of First Instance of Qatar passed a judgment on October 26 in the case involving 8 Indian employees of Aldara Company. The judgment is confidential and has only been shared with the legal team. They are now pursuing further legal steps, and I think an appeal has already been filed. We will also remain engaged with the Qatari authorities in this matter. On November 7, we received, our embassy in Doha received another consular access to the detainees. We are in touch with their family members too. And as you recall, External Affairs Minister met the family members earlier this month in New Delhi. We will continue to extend all legal and consular support, and I would urge everyone not to engage in speculation considering the sensitive nature of the case. If I could, एक आप विशाल, आपका भी प्रश्न इसी से जुड़ा हुआ था. Okay, next question. Somebody else had a hand up. I didn't pick up. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
If
you could introduce your record.
Oh, sorry. This is Suhasini Heather from The Hindu. I had one question and a follow-up. The question is about the plans for a Voice of Global Summit, as well as the G20 virtual summit later this month. I wanted to just get a sense of how many countries you're expecting will attend at the leadership level for both, and particularly in the G20. Are we expecting the leaders who weren't able to make it for the G20 summit to come for the virtual one, specifically, of course, the presidents of Russia and China? So that's my question. And the follow-up was about Israel as well. You said you didn't want to prejudge what we might discuss with the US Secretary of State, but just wanted to get a specific comment on whether India is calling for a ceasefire from the Israeli side of its bombardment of Gaza.
You mean in the context of what? In the context of tomorrow's conversation or
No,
general?
no.
So it's
just
not a follow-up,
generally
but
is-
general's the question.
Because we
okay.
had seen your statement on the UNGA.
No, I agree. So it's not nothing to do with the 2+2 tomorrow. Okay,
Oh,
fair
no.
enough. Fair enough. Who had a hand up? Yeah. No. Yeah, please go ahead. Sorry, aapka bhi?
So, Sputnik India. My question is about the Prime Minister Modi has been, speaking to West Asian leaders, including the Iranian president, who has urged India to extend, implement a humanitarian pause. And so, what's India's stance on that? So,
Okay. On humanitarian pause. Yeah. Okay. I saw a hand here. Yes, please go ahead. एक मिनट उनके पहले माइक उनके पास.
Sir, Rishabh from Times Now. Sir, there are reports about a court judgment in Australia for our former High Commissioner Navdeep Suri about him underpaying the house help or a staff, and he has been asked to pay about $136,000 as a remuneration to the lady. Can you explain what exactly happened and what how does India see it?
माइक्रोफोन उसके बिना सुना नहीं देंगे आपको.
सर हम रविंदर सिंह रॉबिन आज करतारपुर कॉरिडोर के 4 साल पूरे हो गए हैं सर, और 5,000 की बनस्पत 200 के करीब एवरेज श्रद्धालु वहाँ पे जा रहे हैं. इंडिया की डिमांड और लोगों की डिमांड रही कि $20 की फ़ीस कम की जाए और पासपोर्ट की शर्त कम की जाए. इसके ऊपर पाकिस्तान का अभी तक कोई जवाब आया
जी नहीं. प्रश्न क्या था?
सर
नहीं, पाकिस्तान का जवाब नहीं है, मुझे मालूम है.
हाँ जी.
आप कोई प्रश्न
तो
पूछ, हमारा क्या वक्तव्य है?
इसमें MEA ने कहा था कि पाकिस्तान को कहा गया है.
नहीं, मैं
तो उसके ऊपर क्या उनकी कोई रिप्लाई आई?
अच्छा, ओके, ठीक है. ओके, या जस्ट वन सेकंड. आई सॉ योर हैंड फर्स्ट. आई विल कम टू यू प्लीज.
सर मैं नीरज दुबे प्रभा साक्षी से. अभी हमने देखा कि सर एक भारतीय छात्र की यूएस में हत्या कर दी गई. इस तरीके के वाक़े बढ़ रहे हैं. अमेरिकी मंत्री यहाँ पर आए हैं. क्या ये विषय भारत उनके समक्ष उठाएगा? हालांकि हो सकता है कि एजेंडा में नहीं हो, लेकिन क्या इन विषयों पर भी बातचीत होगी?
ओके, I'll come back another round. I see a few more hands abhi bhi. So Hasani, on your queries regarding the summit, look, on the G20 virtual summit, you recall Prime Minister Narendra Modi had announced that there will be a virtual summit before the end of our presidency. We haven't yet formally announced the date and the details of that, so let's wait for that. But in the nature of a virtual summit, we would hope that invitations have been extended to all G20 and guest countries, and we would hope that everybody is able to attend, particularly considering there's a virtual summit. However, summits, as we have discussed earlier, participants have sometimes unable to attend for various reasons. So, but yes, invitations have gone out to everyone, and we will announce a formal thing on the specific timing and date once we are there. On the Voice of Global South Summit, yes, that's something that's also being discussed, but again, we haven't made any formal announcement. Please wait till we come back on that. As regards the issue of Israel and the conflict in Gaza, look, I know this issue has come up a couple of times. I don't have a specific update, but since there were different questions on this, let me reiterate where we stand. We made our position clear, or we have made our position clear on multiple occasions, including during the UN General Assembly debate, I think on October 27th. We have strongly condemned the horrific terrorist attack on Israel, urged the need for zero tolerance for terrorism, and called for immediate and unconditional release of hostages. We have also conveyed our deep concern at the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and the increasing civilian toll, and welcomed efforts to de-escalate the situation and provide humanitarian assistance. India has also sent 38 tons of humanitarian relief material. We have emphasized the need for strict observance of international humanitarian law. We have also urged the parties to de-escalate, eschew violence, and work towards creating conditions for an early resumption of direct peace negotiations towards a two-state solution. And I think that captures all aspects of how we look at that very difficult situation there. Rishabh, you asked a question on an individual. Look, on consular issues, usually I would be hesitant to comment too much on this. But let me just say, since you asked a specific, broader context, a service staff of the High Commission of India in Australia, in Canberra, willfully deserted her employment post in May 2016. one day before her scheduled departure back to India. She was holding an official passport and was on an Australian diplomatic visa. Since then, we have repeatedly requested Australian authorities to locate and repatriate her to India. We have learned that she has made allegations against the then High Commissioner, and an ex parte judgment has now been issued by an Australian court. I think you were referring to that. Let me reiterate that we reject any locus standi of Australian authorities to adjudicate on matters concerning such India-based service staff of the High Commission. Any grievance that she may have has to be suitably addressed only in India. Her conduct and false representations give rise to suspicions that all this has been motivated by a desire to permanently stay in Australia, and in which she seems to have succeeded. We are also concerned by the ex parte court judgment. We are taking up the matter with the Australian authorities. We would urge Australia to uphold its obligations under the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, particularly in relation to diplomatic immunities and privileges. I don't want to get into specifics of the persons. रॉबिन जी, आपने कहा करतारपुर कॉरिडोर, आप जानते ही हैं इसमें हम इस विषय पे हम कितने अहमियत देते हैं. हमने पासपोर्ट, ये $20 की जो फ़ीस है, इसको हटाने का हमने प्रस्ताव भी दे रखा है. पासपोर्ट की ज़रूर जो है उसके लिए भी हमने रखा है. हम इसको दोहराते रहते हैं, पर अभी तक हमारे पास कोई अपडेट ऐसा नहीं आया. हम जानते हैं कि इससे दिक्कतें होती हैं, और हम इसको, ये हमारे जो रिक्वेस्ट हैं, इसको हम फिर से दोहराएंगे. नीरज जी, आपका प्रश्न था, एक स्टूडेंट जो अभी आई थिंक आज गुजर गए हैं, बहुत दुख भरी इंसिडेंट है. हमारी काउंसलर उनके साथ कांटेक्ट में थे, उनके फैमिली और फ्रेंड्स हैं जो वो. ऐसे केसेस पे हम लोकल अथॉरिटीज़ से ज़रूर डिस्कस करते हैं. कल इसकी चर्चा होगी या नहीं मैं कह नहीं सकता हूँ. जैसे मैंने कहा, इसको प्रीजज नहीं करना चाहिए क्या डिस्कस होगी, पर हम अमेरिकी जो लॉ इन्फोर्समेंट और अथॉरिटीज़ हैं उनसे ज़रूर बात करते हैं. और हम चाहते हैं कि हमारे जो नागरिक हों या इंडियन कम्युनिटी के लोग हैं उनको सुरक्षा रहे. और पूरा डिटेल मुझे है नहीं कि इस घटना का किस तरह से हुआ, कैसे हुआ, पर ये बहुत दुखद घटना है. ओके, लास्ट राउंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस परहैप्स. वंस अगेन योर हैड अ हैंड अप. यस.
Sir, I'm Huma Siddiqui from the Financial Express. There were reports that India may start buying oil from Venezuela. So will this issue come up tomorrow during the 2+2? And my second question is,
okay, why? Okay, you are in the context of US sanctions.
Yes.
Okay.
And Minister Lekhi is in South America. She's visiting Paraguay and
Ecuador.
So what is the outcome of those? If there is, because there's hardly anything coming.
No? Okay. I'm surprised. Okay, no, I saw one hand up before that. Yes, sir. At the back, yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Emerson from Central News Agency of Taiwan. You mentioned about labor mobility agreements a few moments ago. Do you have any updates on the negotiation of labor mobility agreements between Taiwan and India?
Okay.
When will it be signed? Thank you.
Okay. Who had it? Yeah, Pia. I'll come back.
Hi, Pia with the print. Will PM Modi be attending the APEC summit, and if not, which official will be participating instead?
Okay. Who had a question? Yeah, please. Yeshi. I'll come to you.
This is Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. The founder of Six for Justice, Panu, has had issued a statement saying that if asking Sikhs not to take the Air India flight on November 19th from Canada, and he's also said that Delhi airport would be closed. And he's so has MEA taken this up, and how seriously are you taking his threat?
Yeah.
So I have the same question with what Yeshi asked.
If you introduce yourself.
Sheikh Jha from CNN News 18. My only question is, adding to that, is whether India has raised the issue with Canadian and US officials, because it has a clear threat of probably bombing the aircraft of the Air India or something.
Okay. There was one more hand up. Yes, ma'am.
This is Rita from news agency ANSA, Italy. Any update about the story of the baby Arisha in foster care?
Could you repeat again?
Baby
Aria.
Arisha.
Okay.
Yeah, in Germany. Arisha.
Okay. Baby in Germany. I do. Okay. Okay. If there are no further questions, let me just end with this one. Look, on the threats by against on flights, Air India flights. Look, we strongly condemn such terrorist threats. I do not wish to get into details, just gives visibility to that. We have been engaged with foreign governments on the activities of radical and terrorist elements that have been inciting violence and intimidation of our leadership, of our diplomats. We will continue to press these governments to deny space to such extremist elements. Let me limit it to that. We will certainly take necessary security measures against that. हिंदी में आपका प्रश्न तो anyway, अच्छा उनका प्रश्न था. देखिए, ऐसे आतंकवादी थ्रेट्स को हम कड़ी निंदा करते हैं. ऐसे रेडिकल और आतंकवादी एलिमेंट्स की गतिविधियों पर संबंधित जो फॉरेन गवर्नमेंट्स हैं उनके साथ बातचीत कर रहे हैं, और जो हमारी लीडरशिप और हमारे डिप्लोमेट्स के खिलाफ हिंसा और ऐसे डराने धमकाने के लिए उकसाते रहते हैं. हम ऐसे एक्सट्रीमिस्ट एलिमेंट्स को जगह नहीं मिले इसके लिए ये आग्रह करते रहते हैं फॉरेन गवर्नमेंट से. और सिक्योरिटी के मामले में हम जो मेजर्स लेना है वो तो बाकी एजेंसी ले ही रही हैं, पर मैं और कुछ कहना नहीं चाहता हूँ क्योंकि ऐसे फिर इनको ज़्यादा विजिबिलिटी भी देना नहीं चाहता हूँ मैं. Mr. Emerson, your query was on the issue of mobility agreements. I mentioned to you how we look at these, how these help us. Yes, there are discussions going on. I'm afraid I can't put a time frame on it. Negotiations by their very nature tend to do not have a finite timeline, but we hope that this would be concluded at an early date and that these help the people concerned who are looking to take benefit of this mobility partnership. On the issue, Huma, on Venezuela, I think we discussed this earlier. We have repeatedly said that we would be guided by our, our oil imports or our energy imports would be guided by our energy security requirements. If you have any specific details they're looking for, of course, I would refer you to the relevant ministry. As regards taking it up tomorrow, look, let's not prejudge it. I can't comment in advance whether it will happen. You asked about Ecuador. Honorable Minister of State Meenakshi Lekhiji is, of course, had gone. She's also going to Netherlands after that. We have been trying to issue a press release after each segment of the visit, and we will certainly do that. Let me not comment on it while the visit is still underway. So we will try to update you as the visit progresses, or each segment or each leg is completed. Pia, I don't have any update on that. I doubt very much that it will be attended at the Prime Minister level. But again, these things, till it happens, I can't confirm. I understand we'll have ministerial representation, but let it be announced formally. We will come back to you when that is done. On the issue of baby in Germany, look, this is an issue that we have been tracking. We have been requesting that her rights as an Indian, her rights and cultural rights, particularly her ability to be raised in Indian context, be protected. We have been taking it up on a regular basis. We had access, and I think we briefed some time ago that we got consular access, and some gifts and other elements were provided to her. In fact, I probably have some details of that conversation. I don't have an immediate update this week, but this is something that we continue to follow. The consular access, in fact, was on August 31st, and that interaction included elements of cultural immersion with a view to enable the child to remain connected with Indian traditions and culture, which we think is important. We remain in constant engagement with German authorities on the matter to safeguard the child's cultural and national identity and rights, and to ensure her return to India. Thank you very much. Sorry, Kallol, you should put your hand up then. I thought we closed. Okay, last quick question. I think we're running behind time.
Well, there has been a crackdown on the opposition in Bangladesh after the October 28th rally. Some of the top leaders, including the General Secretary of the biggest opposition party, BNP, is in prison. And one of the standing committee members who spoke to us when he was visiting Delhi said that India has not yet issued a statement which can actually promote free and fair election in Bangladesh. And on that count, they are kind of disappointed. So I would like to sort of ask you, what is really India's position on the Bangladesh government putting opposition leaders in jail? Okay.
Let me preface my answer by saying the characterization of all of those elements is your words, not mine. Crackdown, jailed opposition leader, etc. are your interpretation. Please don't ascribe them to me. We do not want to comment on the policy of any third country. Elections in Bangladesh, as I've said, are a domestic matter for them. It is for the people of Bangladesh to decide their own future. As a close friend and partner, we respect the democratic process in Bangladesh, and we will continue to support Bangladesh's vision of a stable, peaceful, and progressive nation. So that would be my response to whatever you said. Thank you for joining us. Good evening.